We're recording now.
You say we are recording? Oh yeah, I see the red dot now. All right. So please rise for the Pledge of the Allegiance. I pledge the allegiance to the flag
Of the United States
of America and to the republic
for which it stands,
one
one
nation, under
God,
God,
indivisible,
with liberty
and justice for all.
and justice for all.
Thank you all. Roll call, please.
Alexander,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Lentine,
Here.
Lewis,
Yes.
Nelson,
Here.
Thomas,
Yes.
Ursu.
Yes.
So I entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second the motion.
Alexander,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Lentine,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Ursu.
Yes.
Okay, we will move on to reports. Mayor, do you have a report?
Madam President, I have no report this evening in the case of time. We're almost at 9:30, but I believe our department heads have great reports this evening.
Okay, great, thank you. Chief Newman, do you have a report?
Thank you, Council President Henry, Mayor Roche, members of council, and members of our viewing audience. Two things from the Division of Fire. The Fire Division has been awarded a $2,846 equipment and training grant from the Ohio Department of Public Safety, Division of Emergency Medical Services. The purpose of this grant is to improve EMS and trauma patient care in Ohio through the provision of grant funding for equipment training and research. The funding source for the grant program is fines levied in the state of Ohio for seatbelt violations. Division of Fire was awarded $2,846 with a 0% local match. The grant will provide additional EMS equipment and training over the next 6-month operational period. We have been awarded this grant every year for the last 8 years. A COVID-19 update. Richmond Heights firefighters are working around the clock to keep our city safe. Dispatchers screen the 911 callers for COVID-19 symptoms and to alert our responders. PPE is worn to limit the exposure of each of our responders. Since March 26th, Richmond Heights firefighters have responded to 69 suspected COVID-19 cases with 17 confirmed COVID-19 cases. Based on information provided by the Cuyahoga County Board of Health, as of July 10th, there have been 5,761 confirmed COVID-19 cases in Cuyahoga County with 324 deaths. 92 to 171 confirmed cases of COVID-19 are in the 44143 zip code area, which Richmond Heights is in as well. Just a quick follow-up. Last week, Governor DeWine implemented a new warning system, the Public Health Advisory Alert System, to provide health departments and communities with the data and information needed to identify and fight spikes in the virus. Those counties designated as a red alert level 3 will be subject to the Ohio Department of Health's public facial covering mandate. And there are 4 levels. Currently, Cuyahoga County is in an alert level 3, which is considered red. There's 7 indicators. That means that 4 or 5 of the indicators have been triggered. There's 7 counties across the state of Ohio that are in this category. The guidelines in red are very high exposure and spread, limit activities as much as possible, limit travel and gatherings, and follow all current health orders. The next level would be a purple. We're very close to being a purple, as is Franklin County. That means that 6 of the 7 triggers or indicators have been triggered. Currently, there are no counties in this category. The guidelines from the Department of Health is Only leave home for supplies and services, follow all current health orders, and severe exposure and spread is always a chance. So there is more information. I can send it out to council via email on the web with a link to the site where you can look through the information. But I would encourage all of our residents to look for more information in the https://coronavirus.ohio.gov, and there'll be more information in that area. But I'll send that link out after this meeting. That concludes my report. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Chief.
I'll just comment, Chief, that was excellent part of the report. I believe on our website, we have those links right on the homepage for people that are
Okay.
interested in some of the Ohio and the local health board.
Madam Chairman,
Yes.
a question for our chief, and not really a question, but a comment. I know some months ago, Chief, you were trying to put together a document that would help us in emergency type situations for our city. I'm not talking necessarily about our residents, as you know, we already have something like that and we're following it. My concerns is for the everyday operation of our city, the employees of the city hall. We need to keep our city going. If we get wiped out, or if we get a department that is overtaken by a disaster of some sort, a virus, any other kind of an emergency that may come about, are we prepared? I know you prepared a document some months ago. Unfortunately, I don't think any of us gave it the proper time and effort that you did by putting it together. I would like to add that to my agenda next Tuesday. I think you're going on vacation. You're probably not going to be available, but maybe I could just put it on the agenda and keep it there. I think we need to talk about for our department heads what to do if the service department gets overtaken by the virus, if the fire department or the police department or city hall. What happens if our finance department is out of whack? How does payroll happen? How does everyday operations of the city go on? And I believe in that document that you prepared. I glanced at it. I have to be honest with you, I did not read it. I think you were trying to address those concerns. And I think that it's very important that the city has something like this in place, not only for this particular crisis, but anything that's coming down the road for us. I hope you feel the same way. I know you did some great work with that. I think we need to keep it going. I think we got to get everybody's input, just what we were talking about before, about gathering and having conversation. We need to know what other cities and other counties do in these type of situations, and we need to implement that in our city. I hope you agree with that.
We all agreed with that, Frank. I could give you a brief update, maybe. We can pretty much operate the city remotely from home, from a number of people that we can VPN in and operate. And the chief even can now access some of the from his office the server and things for doing things with the finance director.
It needs to be written, Mayor. It needs to be because we're not going to be always sitting in these seats, and all these department heads are not going to always be sitting in their seats. We need to have something for whoever's in charge at the time can grab this manual, grab this document, and turn to whatever crisis might be in front of us, and have a fighting chance of how to keep everything going. I really feel strongly about this.
Well, it is. I did read that document. If you read it, between that and the city's disaster recovery plan, which the mayor and other people have run through that several times, and the mayor is constantly updating. I looked at that plan. I do disaster recovery planning also as a profession. So the chief's plan was very detailed, and I did spend time because for a number of reasons. But I spent hours and I went through it. They can do what they need to do based off of the plan. So, but we can discuss it.
Well, we need to adopt it. We need to not just have somebody write it up like the chief did and put it in a drawer someplace. We need to actually implement it and act on it and make sure it's part of our everyday operations. It's
Well,
one thing about talking about it and saying how great job it is and
No,
what a great document
I
it is,
think
but if
we're
it's
all,
not
Frank, I
implemented-
think we all agree, and I think your point's well taken, and I think that this is an ongoing, ever doing things.
I agree.
My comments were only based on practicality. Tomorrow, if something happens that, hey, we can't get together, most of us can operate from home and do the majority of the thing. The only thing that can happen is if you have a superpower failure and we don't have a backup generator yet. We've got that on the, we've had that in the budget and asked for some grants for doing that, and we're progressing through that. Our next this year, we did get a grant for a generator for Kiwanis Lodge to provide backup cooling center, and we've got that now almost. Well, once we get the generator later this year, and we have the grant, we can have a Red Cross center there with showers and et cetera. So we're working slowly towards that. It's an ever ongoing process, Frank. We're not saying I think we're all in agreement, Frank, and I think we need to go forward. And then, there's the next step. I mean, there's the local and operations and that type of thing. My assistant has access. Basically, he's been working from home for several months. We're starting to implement some of the collaboration things with OneNote and OneDrive. We've started to implement the Microsoft OneDrive, where we can start sharing folders and files, and that may be just to get people in the use of, and we've been using it. So it's not, Frank, if something happens, we've got people here that have been using it day to day for the last several months, and they've become very familiar with it. So it's not that, all of a sudden a disaster happens and nobody knows how to turn it on or how to do it. We've been practicing. And it's almost like we've been practicing now, with the Zoom here. I think we're getting better and better as everybody uses it and that type of thing. So to your point, I think is well taken. I think you ought to have it on the agenda. We can talk about it. Again, yours in, I think the big thing that the chief put through, I believe, is more of a county plan that follows a guidelines that has whatever it was, 18 different steps or something. Let Chief briefly expand on that if you'd like.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, the resource material that I obtained for creating this document, it's a 108-page document, is an emergency operations plan is laid out through Cuyahoga County. I rewrote it to include elements specific to the city of Richmond Heights and all departments and divisions within the city of Richmond Heights. The plan is a glossary of emergency operation terms and emergency service functions, and how all of that intertwines with the local emergency. And then it has a series of natural and man-made disasters, everything from windstorms, thunderstorms, and floods, down to evacuation and shelter, even including pandemic disease or influenza. It is a guideline of how to react in the event of one of these disasters, and it goes down several tiers within the departments, and it's a guide to help make decision points when confronted with this. I created it last year. I used some work from Highland Heights, a little work from Mayfield Heights, and of course the county template to create it. But I don't know all the nuances in the different divisions within the city, or all the nuances from the council's perspective. So I sent the draft document out for review. for write-ups. And if it looks prudent and sound to mayor and council, definitely be willing to train everybody on it and adopt it into the city.
Chief, I know you sent that document out to us. It's 108 pages or whatever. Can you possibly get that out to us one more time? Is that just on our email? You don't have to write, you don't have to kill a tree to do this. So just.
But you should have it in your email, Frank.
I have it, but do you have it? Does every
Of course
council
I
member
have it.
have it?
They should, because he sent it to all of us, that was like a month or two ago? Dig in your emails. Chief should be doing something else, like wearing his mask and,
All right,
and doing
well,
whatever
then-
work he needs to do.
Well, all right, that's fine. Next Tuesday when we discuss it, I hope everybody has it in front of them. I have mine. I was just thinking
Yeah.
to help everybody else out.
So I
That's
guess
fine.
if
That's
anybody
fine.
needs, if they need it, they should request it. But otherwise, I
just
don't
did.
think we should ask the chief to do it before. He should not. Well, I don't think we should ask him to do something he did already when people didn't read it when they should have been reading when he sent it to them. So
Okay.
dig in your file.
I'll be
Then
ready
dig-
Tuesday. I hope everybody else is,
And if they're not, you put them on the spot.
like you're doing to me right now.
Exactly.
All right, Chief, you don't have to do that. I guess we all have it.
If anybody needs a copy, please contact me and I'll resend
No one's
it.
gonna admit to that. They'll get it elsewhere.
Okay, does that complete your report, Chief?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, you're unbelievable.
No, it's just let's spend the time better. Chief Wetzel, you have a report?
Yes, Council President Henry, Mayor Roach, members of council and members of the public. Our police officers continue to stay healthy during this pandemic. We have had our service department deliver plastic picnic tables to our station recently, so our officers have the option of conducting outdoor roll calls. So if you do happen to see a bunch of them gathered outside, they're not having a picnic, they're going to be actually working at that point. Also, just in that vein of good health, I was pleased to see during the second quarter, 77% of our officers did not use one sick day during that time, which I thought was great because that's really the bulk of when this thing has exploded. On July 10th, Sergeant Rick Alexa, Detective Steve Mollet, and Officer Mark Davis completed 25 years of service to our city. That is a quarter of a century of protecting and serving, and during that time, they have been exposed to various dangers and risks to their personal safety. They have worked many exhausting shift rotations, have been away from their families on holidays and other important events. They have responded to many calls where they have observed situations of sadness and suffering, which can put a psychological strain on officers. Despite all this, though, and these demands and the many other challenges which come from a career of public service as a police officer, they served and continue to serve with distinction and professionalism. Also on July 12th, Detective Mollet retired from the SPAN SWAT team after many years of service. We will be formally recognizing them at our next safety committee meeting or our next council meeting. On June 5th of this year, we had 2 juvenile males that were shot on Terrell Court. Our officers and detectives worked really hard on this case and have learned now who the shooter is. We hope to have him apprehended soon. He's also a juvenile. We had a nice event plan called Dogs and Dialogues, dogs being hot dogs, for our residents at our Loganberry and Dorchester apartments, but temporarily tabled it to play it safe with the COVID concerns. We look forward to having this important event at a later date, as it will provide an excellent opportunity to share fellowship and food and allow for us to have an open dialogue on topics of concern with our customers on the north end of our city. I also wanted to report we are continuing to work on our public safety recruitment efforts. Both the fire department and police department have 3 volunteers each from their departments. And Chief Newman and I have a meeting this Thursday with the Civil Service Commission to start developing planning for this process. Also, I just wanted to let everybody know I have, as always, an open line for all of you. If you've got any concerns or questions, anything related to our work, please let me know. Recently, Councilwoman Kim Thomas had reached out to me because one of her constituents had some concerns. I went directly to their home. I sat at the table, their dinner table, with both the husband and wife, and they explained a lot of things. They took a lot of notes, and we took specific actions to relieve them of their concerns by giving them special attention to their home, myself included. I actually sat in their driveway just to give them relief. The point of it is that by her reaching out to me, I had a chance to meet with one of our customers and relieve them of some concerns, and I hope it was successful. As part of that, we actually went and did a free security survey for them and provided comprehensive security strategies for their home, just to help, again, give them some ideas on how to do some good things. So again, I've got that open line. Please, you got any questions, concerns about anything, you all can call me at a moment's notice. And that concludes my report.
Madam Chair, could I just say one thing? Chief Wetzel, you are amazing. So I just want to say thank you, and my residents love you and your team.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
So Chief, I had a question. Is there such a thing as called, what is it? Automated roll calls that some police forces are implementing now because of COVID?
I haven't actually heard that term, automated roll calls. What we were doing in the beginning for a while was not even having roll calls. We just told officers just get out on the road. That's just that much less they got to run into each other. Then as things seemed to have relaxed a little bit, then they started kind of going back to roll calls. Now we're kind of pushing towards just, go on the road. What happens is the supervisor can actually call them, and just do like a FaceTime on their phones and apprise them of what happened. That kind of limits those collecting of people. But, this is an extra measure. I asked the service department recently, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, to drop off some, plastic picnic tables. So that way they've got the social distancing, they can sit outside because the weather is nice right now. And they have that option if they actually want to sit together. But we've, specifically talked to our officers and sent out directives on, making sure that they follow these governor's orders. But again, that was an option which we had, but I haven't heard the term automated roll calls yet.
It's probably some term that I created, but something using technology to do the roll call versus the people doing it in person. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, sir. Because I was thinking when the winter comes and maybe we might have to think about doing something. If this keeps going on for a year or two, we might have to change things. So implementing technology and everything, embedding it in everything we do now. So that's why I was wondering. And I think I heard something about that also.
No, I'm going to note that. That was actually a good idea, and that's something we could try to develop. So I appreciate it.
Thank you. Building Commissioner Jim Urenker, any report tonight? Is he even here tonight? Is Jim on vacation? Mayor Roach, do you know where Jim Urenker is?
He had some personal business. I believe his stepfather, I think, passed away recently. So I think he had mentioned to me that there was a chance that he wasn't going to be here. So that's
all right. You don't have to tell me anymore. I just wondered if I saw him on. I was just wondering if I saw him on the line. Yeah. No. I was just wondering because we keep calling his name and I'm thinking, why are we all thinking he's here? But I don't think I ever heard a response.
I think he was going to try to get on the Zoom since, he doesn't have to be here, but apparently he didn't quite make it.
Okay, thank you. So then the next report then would be Jim Technip.
Thank you, Council President Henry, members of council, and Mayor Roach. My report will be brief this evening. Most importantly, I want to report, as some of the other departments have, that my finance staff remains healthy. I myself was tested for COVID-19 recently, and thankfully the Cleveland Clinic my test results at Cleveland Clinic were negative. Secondly, the finance department remains busy as always. Some of the things we're preparing right now are the second quarter of 2020 payroll reports and other ancillary reports. And finally, much of my days recently have been spent numerous hours each day preparing financial and statistical information for the ongoing collective bargaining unit negotiations, as we discussed earlier this evening. And this concludes my report.
Thank you. Recreation Director Rick Dula.
Thank you, Council President Henry, Roach, members of council, community at large. Just a couple items tonight. As the mayor indicated earlier, Anthony and I have been trying to finalize the procedures for the shred day that will pretty much minimize staff or volunteer exposure to potential germs at the shred day. That people will come, they will have to be able to unload their stuff into the appropriate containers on their own, unless they possibly, you know, if they're handicapped and have a handicap sticker in their car. We will have the truck driver who will be PPE'd up to assist them. But we're looking forward to having a nice turnout since we didn't have it for our original date back in March. Next item is that all the rentals through October 15th have either been canceled by the renters or they've been rescheduled for 2021. We've taken care of all the appropriate refunds. Couldn't find that word. Anthony and I have also met with the mayor recently to investigate and create a scaled down version of the Fall Fest over at the Greenwood Farm in September. So we've been having discussions, and Anthony and Rhonda and I will be meeting again on Thursday to you know, discuss more, and then hopefully we can try to create a committee and maybe have some Zoom meetings to help promote this. But it will be, the emphasis is on scale down. Wasn't good news to hear that we might be approaching purple. That's not the way we want to go. We want to go the other way. We want to get to that green light.
Right. So getting to that point, why are we having that event, period?
It was suggested that we push forward and do what we can to see if we can do a scaled down event. That's what
is scaled down? Scaled down, when I hear scaled down out of City Hall, it means we're going to spend less money. So what is scaled down otherwise?
Well, we're trying to look at activities because, you know, the Fall Fest, that was full of family fun activities. We had the hayride, that would be eliminated. The inflatables, that would be eliminated. The chili cook-off, that would be eliminated. The games that the Selman volunteers helped us produce would be eliminated. So we're trying to come up with other type of youth and family-related activities and adult activities, maybe like a painting class or some hikes or some yoga or exercise classes. We've talked with the CPA staff to maybe you know, have some of their instructors come over for a, you know, one-shot you know, exercise class throughout the time of the event. Just it's tough. I mean, again, as I've told you before, our job here in recreation is people-centric. We want to bring them together, but now we have to do it with 6 feet apart and, you know, masks. So this is why we're having some preliminary discussions internally with the mayor and Rhonda and Anthony and I and Rick Samrata and Chief Newman. I've gotten feedback from a lot of people here in City Hall to see what we can pull off, still make it a worthwhile event. We don't want to have an event that people show up and say, well, where's the beef? You know, we want to do something fun. Well, I don't know. We're still determining if we can do that. Hopefully we can, but I would rather cancel it than try to come up with something that's half baked and not, because we don't want to put a stain in their mind about Fall Fest for 2021. Say, well, geez, 20 sucked, so we're not going to show up next year because we didn't have any fun this year. So
well, that's what you sound like. It sounds like that's what you're going to do. Because
well, we're giving it the college try, Madam President.
Pardon me? You what? Pardon me?
I said we're giving it the college try to we can create something that'll be worthwhile. You know, with the mayor's assistance, you know, we're working on that.
Well, I'm telling you, if you want to be creative, you need to go get you some young kids and ask them what would they like to see. Because let me tell you, us dinosaurs ain't where it's at. What we had in my company, what we did, because we had to cancel things like this, the social gatherings, they decided to do stuff through technology. So that's it. They do virtual tours, or they had people with like Jeopardy, online Jeopardy, and all kinds of other games. Because otherwise, and you can't give it the same name, because like you said, you are not going to do nothing but blemish people. But maybe I got a headache, and that's the reason why I'm thinking this way. But if you skinny anything down like that, you're going to change people's perception. So I don't know how you're gonna do it. It's just like I was dating a fat man and you give me a skinny man. My perception has just changed, you know? So that's what you're talking about doing. So
Yeah.
what do you think about it?
Yeah, one of my ideas was to change the name this year so we didn't
Yeah.
ruin the Fall Fest brand
Yeah.
that we, had a nice event last year. So it's going to be something, it's not going to be called Fall Fest this year for sure. We want to hopefully be able to go back to that green light scenario and go full bore next year if possible. But
Right.
so if any council will have any suggestions, feel free to contact Anthony or myself, and we'll be happy to listen and try to pull this off.
Well,
Again, one of the thoughts here is that we still got 2 months. We weren't going to commit to anything that's a long-term or costly thing. We still have to go through school opening, and we were hoping for the best. So my idea is in the time of middle of August, we could possibly cancel this altogether. We'll have a different name, and this will just be we're actually pulling together. 2 weeks ago, we had a little work group. We all were socially distanced. We some of us had weed whackers, and we pulled weeds and cut down trees in the rain garden. We had people from 4 different organizations helping. We had the farm is 17 acres, so we put 3 or 4 people around, very distance. We didn't have to worry about 6 feet. Most of them were 20 feet apart, and we accomplished a lot. And everyone that attended was happy that they were able to get out and assist in cleaning up the rain gardens and cutting some shrubs, pulling weeds and that type of thing. And we're planning that again in a couple of weeks. I think Sunday we'll have something out. So what we can do is, you say, reimagine some of these things. It doesn't have to be very, very big. And even if we had, hiking, that kind of thing in groups that are 12 feet apart, and walk down through the ravine and things. That's all. It's just trying to, and you're saying you want to get 3 people together. All we're saying is we want to get people out and viewing the farm and enjoying the hike around and that kind of thing. It's not going to be anywhere as like a festival with the big blow up things and big band sound and all that stuff. We know we're not getting that place, that direction. Thanks.
well, I just don't want the city to be the transmitters. So that's the whole thing. I don't want
fully aware, and you don't know how close we come to just canceling everything, but we are trying to. We do have a CPA thing that we're having to walk in the park a couple times a week.
What is the CPA
there's
thing?
5 or 6 people that participate. They sometimes it's a husband and wife walk together, and everybody is 20 feet apart. They go and they enjoy the day. They say hi to each other, that kind of thing. And you need to have a little bit of this. Now, if we get into the next level up, all these things are going to be off the boards. If school's not opening and the things, obviously that's going to change a lot of these things. We'll just lock ourselves in the house.
But even if the school's open, you don't want to be pulling kids into something that could put them at risk. It's harder to control kids. It's harder to control teenagers. It's hard to control old folks. Middle-aged folks. It's hard to control people. So that's my whole point. You bring them together. It's hard to have everybody do the right thing. And
are you suggesting we should cancel any event at Greenwood Farm from us to get together thing? Because you got together on the porch with 3 other people.
Right. Well, 3 people you can space out, but you're talking about more than 3 people. You remember that 10-person rule? I'm talking about adhering to what that governor said.
I'm all done hearing. I'm in the mode of canceling.
Yeah.
I'm ready to cancel.
Yeah, I think we don't need to be.
Okay, we can cancel any of the events, and any event we'll do will be a small independent thing. Cleveland Hikers or something can maybe come over
Right.
and hike. Oh, that's
Yeah.
part of that was part of the concept, but whatever.
Yep. I think that's more like it. Otherwise, we'll be the carriers. We could be the transmitters. We're sponsoring stuff to possibly risk people. That doesn't make sense to me. I feel like
well, whatever. I'm trying to be open-minded 2 months away. But
well, I'm sorry.
wanna
I am
cancel
not
stuff 2 months
open-minded.
ahead. I'm game. I'll
Okay.
follow your lead.
Yeah, because COVID has closed my mind. I go to sleep
I'm
and
sure it has.
wake up with the same crap, the same nightmare. And I don't want to have it on my conscience that I put one person at risk. And so we're going like, well, no. It don't make sense, especially if you think about letting kids get in the middle of the mix, because you can't control children. And I sure the heck don't want to put one child at risk. So, like I said, you can't control my old butt. So it's like we can't control folks. I can't even control myself sometimes. So, nah, that's where I'm coming from. Thank you. We'll move to the next person, Economic Development Director, Brian Glaser.
Thank you. Council President Henry, Mayor Roach, members of council and members of the community. Just brief report on the new community authority. The first meeting was held last Thursday, July 9th. At that meeting, officers were appointed from the 7-member board. The chairperson of the new community authority, the Bell Oaks New Community Authority, is City Representative Paul Ellis. Vice Chair is Developer Representative Sterling McGregor. Secretary is City Government Rep Brian Gleiser, and Treasurer is City Rep Fred Cash. We passed 3 resolutions, bylaws, the need for insurance and bonding, and records retention policy. And then we're continuing the organizational meeting. The next meeting is this coming Thursday at 3 p.m. on July 16th. And that really, in terms of the timing of this evening, that completes my report.
Thank you.
Madam President,
Yes.
just want to thank Brian for all the work he's done on this. Obviously, it's a big addition to whatever he's doing on a normal basis, and it's greatly appreciated.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, thanks, Brian. City Engineer Lee Courtney.
Very briefly, Madam President, the road program construction will start tomorrow with road work on Park East, Park West, and Curtis Wright.
Thank you. Anything else?
I think that'll do it.
Thank you. Service Director Don Korniski. I don't know if he's here. I think Don is not here either, isn't he?
Don's on vacation, this week
Okay.
and next, yeah.
Oh, thank you. The clerk, do we have any audience comments clerk sent in? Or questions, concerns?
No, I did not get any comments or emails.
Okay. So we have no old business. Can we move on to new business?
Under new business, we have Resolution 67, 2020, introduced by Mayor Roach and Council, first reading. A resolution accepting the findings and recommendations of the fact finder in case number 2018-MED-09-0889, International Association of Firefighters, Local 2009, and declaring an emergency.
Any comments? Who was that from? Mayor Roach, you have a comment?
I'd recommend passage this evening.
I would recommend passage, and I'll move for suspension.
Second motion.
Alexander,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Lentine,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Ursu.
Yes.
Move for passage.
All right, great.
Second.
Alexander,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Lentine,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Ursu.
Yes.
Resolution 67, 2020 passes unanimously.
Ordinance number 68, 2020, introduced by Council President Henry and Mayor Roach, first reading. An ordinance engaging the law firm of Walter Haverfield as special legal counsel for the Bell Oaks project development, tax incentive, and financing matters.
Okay, we need legal counsel to help us walk through this process for the Bell Oaks project. And we would like for Walter Haverfield's firm to represent us. And as Mr. had stated earlier, he has a lot of legacy knowledge about this whole project from the start of the project. Mr. Hunt, if you'd like to add something, that you're welcome to do that.
I think I spoke extensively at Committee of the Whole. I'd just like to say that we're ready to move forward as soon as possible. I've been working on it for almost 2 years in terms of the financial issues, the tax incentive issues, but we're ready to interface with our consultant, Gateway, with the developer, et cetera, going forward as soon as possible.
Madam Chairman,
I'd
make a
recommend
motion.
passes this evening. Sorry, Frank.
Madam Chairman, I'll make a motion to suspend the rules.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Second.
Alexander,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Lentine,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Ursu.
Yes.
Move for passage.
Second.
Madam President, friendly comment on the motion.
Yes.
Just want to also add in there, I mean, when we talk about the legacy and the institutional knowledge that Todd has, not only is he doing the work for a reduced rate, he and his partner, but also the number of hours that are saved by having him do this of work that would otherwise need to be done is substantial. And I think council is very wise in taking this step and adding him and his partner on this regard.
Thank you for saying we're very wise.
Welcome, Madam President. You also had your Wheaties today, I noticed.
Well, you could say that again.
Alexander,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Lentine,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Ursu.
Yes.
Was that a move for passage?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Thank you. Ordinance 68, 2020 passes unanimously. I like to motion to authorize Brian Glaser, who is on the NCA board, to share the legal opinion with the NCA board members and others he wishes to. The legal opinion that he has obtained from Mr. Hunt, right? Hunt's legal opinion?
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
Thank you.
Second.
Alexander,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Lentine,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Ursu.
Yes.
Motion passes. Is there anything else to go before council? Right. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for your cooperation and participation tonight. Good
Thank you,
night.
Madam
Thank you.
Well, there you go. That was absolutely worthless. They didn't open it up to anybody.
Well, if somebody wanted to